Hi there, my name is Adrena Nicole Unzeldua, and I am here to take you through a manifestation workshop. Let's go ahead and get started. I want to start off with a quote that I love. You manifest what you believe, not what you want. This is really, really important when it comes to manifesting because oftentimes we manifest things that, or we attempt to manifest things that are so far out of our reach. And then whenever we don't receive that, we think that we're either not good at manifesting or that the universe failed us or that we did something wrong. Normally, there are reasons why you don't actually end up manifesting what you want to manifest. And that is what I'm going to help you to determine and to figure out in this workshop. All right, so again, my name is Adrena Nicole. I'm a spiritual practitioner. I am a shamanic healer as well as somatic therapist. My first experience with manifestation was a few years ago whenever I bought a yoga studio. And I bought this yoga studio through a $10,000 business loan. This business loan was a private personal loan that I took out, and I had a year and a half to pay it back. The stress of owning my own business, being a brand new business owner, brand new studio owner, was so stressful for me. And then on top of that, I had this monthly payment that, I had to worry about and be concerned about, which was very, very important. While I was embarking on this journey of entrepreneurship as a yoga studio owner, I was also doing my spiritual practitioner training where we were learning about how to manifest. So I decided to put what I was learning into practice, and within 6 months, I paid off my business loan. And what is so awesome about this is that I had zero money in my bank account when I first started. So when I say that I literally manifested $10,000 out of nothing, I did it. It's true. And so this is what I want to share with you. Manifestation isn't for just the few, it's for everybody, but it's learning the tools, the tricks, and the techniques. So what is a manifestation? Manifestation is work, and it is what we would like to materialize in our lives, but also taking the necessary steps to get there. And I think that's really, really important because we often forget that. I think it's actually easier to talk about what manifestation isn't first. And so it's not The Secret. That is a great method. It's not vision boards. It is a part of that. And it's not just good thoughts and good vibes. It's also not a get rich quick scheme either. So manifestation, once again, is work, and it's going from A to B and then actually seeing the C. So what is the most important tool for manifesting? We have to clear the mind and be able to focus. So a clear and focused mind is going to be the most important tool for manifesting. And so how can we do this? We can do this through progressive muscle relaxation. There are tons of videos out there on YouTube, as well as focusing exercises. This would be other meditative techniques, grounding exercises, as well as moving your body with intention to clear stuck energy. All of this is going to help you to have a clear mind, to prepare for manifestation, and to prepare for really bringing in your thoughts and your beliefs into reality. Okay, so we're going to have an activity time where I want you to grab a sheet of paper, grab a pen, or writing utensil, whatever you prefer. I just want you to write down everything that's on your mind, a to-do list. Let it be free form. Ideally, don't even pick up the pen or the pencil from the paper. Just keep on writing. And I'll see you in about 5 minutes. All right, so we are back from our brain dump. So I want you to take that sheet of paper. I want you to take a look at it. If there's anything that you need from it, remember it. and then I want you to throw it away. I want you just to get rid of it. Okay, so we are going to start off very clear and very focused with one of my very, very favorite quotes I learned back in yoga teacher training, which was energy flows where attention goes. I'm going to say that again. Energy flows where attention goes. So where your attention is going, that's also where the energy is. So that means if we're thinking about a lot of things at one time, then it's not going to be as effective. We can think about a waterway. And so if we just had one stream versus multiple streams of how diluted the water would be. So why else do we manifest? So other than just to get more money, it also shows us very clearly and how powerful the mind is. It can show you also where you are a little unclear in your life, as well as eventually how to align your mental, your physical energies with spiritual energies to manifest properly. So let's talk about why our manifestations don't work. There are 4 of them. So the first one is having a lack of clear mind, focus, and clarity. So we need to be able to acknowledge the societal conditions and beliefs that exist surrounding money. So like, what can we actually do in this world? We can also understand that we lack the capacity just overall to have a clear and focused mind. It's also really important to acknowledge that there is a very skewed financial and power structure that benefit the very, very few within this world. All of these things are really important to understand when we're manifesting because this is the blueprint, the background, the foundation for manifestation. So we do have to understand, acknowledge, again, the societal conditions and beliefs that exist surrounding money. So here are some questions to think about. This is self-inquiry. This is where some shadow work comes in. What are your beliefs about money? So for me, it is money is important. I could say that it's not, but it is. Money provides my family with food, with resources, and with other things, such as for fun. Another question to think about is that what did you hear about money growing up? For example, you have to work hard to make money, but what was your parents' ideas, beliefs about money? What did they think about entrepreneurship? What did they think about manifestation? What did they think about even retirement? So understanding that you heard these messages throughout your life, and so it's really important, is that now we have to go to the next one, is that how does this impact you now? So how does your own beliefs and what you heard about money growing up? So me, I realized that there is a part of me that thinks money is important and I need to validate that. And that there's also a part of me that believes that I have to work 50 plus hours a week in a dead-end job just to make my ends meet. There's also another belief that I had that I actually thought was a helpful belief that I have since learned has been very unhelpful. Whenever I was younger, I used to say, I don't care if I have a lot of money. I just want to have enough money to live my life and save up and go on vacation when I need to. I can't tell you how many times I said that. I said that a lot. And I'm now in my 30s and I'm realizing there have been times in my life where I have manifested my financial situation. So it's really important to understand that what we are saying about money is impacting us in multiple ways, multiple layers. Another reason why we're going to have trouble manifesting is unhealed trauma. We have a culture of silence and for asking what we need and we want. This is going to stem once again from that societal structures that exist, but we have patriarchy that is causing unhealed trauma. This unhealed trauma makes it hard for those of us to ask for help, to reach out for support, to even believe that there is support out there, to know that there's resources. So all of this unhealed trauma really prevents somebody from asking for what they want and even what they need. When we have unhealed trauma, we are going to really struggle with feeling like we are worthy of receiving. A lot of those who have gone through trauma also really struggle with the imposter syndrome, feeling like they are a fraud. And what is really important about imposter syndrome is that feeling like a fraud, even with qualifications. And so imposter syndrome often shows up in needing more certifications, needing more trainings. And the reason why this can really halt the manifestation process is that if we're constantly going into the student or constantly going into new things, all of that energy may actually be needed for the actual manifestation process. So once again, here are some questions to think about to dive in for self-inquiry, as well as some shadow work. What is preventing me from success? How am I most getting in the way of my moving forward? How am I preventing myself from evolving? And what is unhealed within me that is causing, whether that's financial instability, financial struggles, issues, insert whatever word in there. Our third reason for why manifestation does not happen is from a lack of flow. This is not only just our own personal flow and our own personal energies, but it's also the energies and flows of the universe. For example, for your own personal flow, if you are not considering what you should be doing with your life, if you're confused at your potential, really where you're supposed to be, there's going to be a lot of lack of flow and lack of energy towards that manifestation process. The other thing is that understanding that manifestation is you creating magic basically with the universe. It's like a meeting, a halfway point, which means that you have to consider the other energies and the flows of the universe. So this could be astrological. So for example, manifestation during a retrograde time, probably not going to be the best, probably not going to be the most helpful. Manifesting with Jupiter, the planet of abundance, that is considering other energies of the universe. And so if we don't have that, so for example, we're trying to manifest with Pluto, perhaps it's not going to be the best match. And so understanding that there are appropriate resources, there are appropriate external energies out there that specifically are there to help you with manifestation. So the other thing is not in flow of just understanding your own timing, so that divine universal timing, or even your own unique gifts in the world that are just not going in with that flow. For example, in 2022, I no energy towards creative endeavors to even think about putting together something like a PowerPoint, a Canva image, something that I actually kind of enjoy doing for my business or even just for personal. I had absolutely no energy for this for a good solid season, but there was a reason for it. During this time, I was pregnant with my third child, and this pregnancy was rough. It kicked my butt, to be honest with you. If you know, you know. Anyways, it was really important that I understood that there was a lack of flow in my creative energy. There was a lack of flow in my manifestation energy because what I had manifested was a baby. That's exactly what I wanted. And so it's just really important to understand that it is not all about your timing and that there are other things that have to be considered. So earlier I mentioned about manifestation being this partnership or a meeting place of you and the universe. And I really like to think of manifestation and even my own relationship with the universe / spirit, whatever you want to call it, is that the universe and I are partners and we're working together. And this requires trust, this requires patience, this requires effort, and this requires time, just like any type of partnership would. So that's really important. So self-inquiry, some shadow work to think about. What flow am I considering or asking to be a part of this manifestation? The next question is, do I have relationship with these flows? Asking, do I even have a relationship with these flows? For example, if we're working with Jupiter, do you have a relationship with Jupiter? I function from a very animistic and shamanistic principles, so the relationship aspect is really important, as well as you're just going to have better and more effective results. The next thing is, what are my unique gifts that I can offer to the world? So I say this so that you might have a lot of talents, you might have a lot of skills, training, certifications. Maybe you kind of fall into that imposter syndrome that we talked about earlier. But also understanding that you are going to have your specific magic, your specific gift, your specific way of showing up in the world, your presence. And so understanding that your gifts and even some of your previous jobs, right, can create some opportunities for you to understand that perhaps you don't have to do what you thought you were going to do whenever you were in elementary school, and perhaps you stepping into a really unique place in your life is you understanding and acknowledging that you have a specific purpose here on this lifetime and trying to figure out what that is through those unique gifts. The last reason is a combination of the previous, but it is a combination of our minds and how our minds have created our perceptions and how we notice the world we live in. For example, we have the imposter syndrome, which I talked about earlier, that can block us. Well, on the other end of that spectrum is something called the Dunning-Kruger syndrome, which is a block of getting yourself going further because you think that you have learned enough, or you think that you have done enough trainings, or I look at it as no longer having that student mindset. When that happens, there can sometimes be this loop of superiority and inferiority that is occurring. And therefore, we are continuing to block ourselves through our minds by not being open, by not being willing or even able to accept new information, feedback, or even just new paths. The other thing is that we have what's called a psychic sensor. We can call it our spectrum of belief. We have to actually think something's going to happen. In order for our psychic sensor to be on for this manifestation process to work, we have to actually ask, is this within our scope of reality? For example, if I wanted to manifest winning $1 million, I have to really sit with the fact, like, do I actually think that would happen? Like, it's a great idea and it's fun to think about, but is it actually in my own scope of reality? Then I have to think about, okay, well, I've never manifested $1 million. I don't even really know what that feels like. I don't even know what that would look like. So then I go back to, what have I manifested? I've manifested 10,000. I've manifested 30,000. I've manifested 50,000. So perhaps the leap from 50,000 to $1 million is going to be way too much for me. So what would be the next step? What is in the next scope of reality? What could I actually think could happen? And so maybe we're going with 100,000 before we head all the way to $1 million. The reason why is because our minds are going to put up a block, very much ignore anything beyond what we can actually process. The protective mechanism, it's great. It keeps us from perhaps diving into ridiculous ventures that we really have no business diving into. And so it's a really important question, is that what are we supposed to be doing right now? What are you supposed to be focusing on? Asking yourself that question, really sitting with it. For self-inquiry and shadow work, again, we can ask ourselves the question, do I have the energy to put effort into this right now? That is a great question for discernment as well. What are my beliefs about manifesting? And then, can I visualize these things happening? And so it's really important to understand, to recognize, and to acknowledge that if there's no energy behind what we're manifesting, it's not going to work. It's like having a plug, but nothing to plug into. This is where that partnership really comes in. So, here what I have for you. If you are still watching and listening, I have a activity called the Wheel of Life, which is a fantastic coaching tool which allows you to look at the different areas of your life and to just kind of understand perhaps where there might be where there is balance, looking at areas of your life that need a little support, to actually see this visually and to do it in this way. So you will see that you have this Wheel of Life PDF that is available, and you're going to see that it has 10 rings, and this is how you're rating it. So from 1 to 10 in these different aspects of your life. And so 1 is going to be extremely dissatisfied, 10 being all the way to extremely satisfied, like you are so happy in that arena. I will say that this activity might surprise you. I did this worksheet a few years ago, and I don't know why, but sometimes it's kind of scary to do this work, right? Because you're like, oh man, what areas of my life do I really need to work on? And the parts that I was so happy that I could reflect on with joy is the fact that I actually had a lot of areas of my life that I was really satisfied in, especially the area of spirituality, personal growth, health, and partnership. All of those things that I've worked really, really hard on to manifest and to bring more forward in my life. So please make sure that you take time to do this activity for yourself. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the process of manifestation, about why it might not be working for you? Please go ahead and reach out to me. Again, my name is Adrena Nicole Anzaldua. I am a somatic therapist, a shamanic healer. I'm also a spiritual practitioner, and I mentor and guide psychics and sensitives to really understand their gifts and to live really confidently, but most importantly, to live functionally in their life and to really step into their purpose, whatever that may be, with their gifts aligned with them. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you.